with Edward Snowden. As we turn before break to Laura Poitras, the person now known as the New York Times described her as, quote, the pivotal connection between the former government contractor Edward Snowden, the writers for The Guardian and The Washington Post, who published his leaked documents about government surveillance. Well, Laura Poitras had a byline on 2 of the key articles about the ongoing NSA revelation. She also filmed The Guardian interview with Edward Snowden in Hong Kong when he went public with his identity on June 6th, shortly after The Guardian and Washington Post published their stories based on the information he provided about the NSA. Well, Laura Poitras is an award-winning filmmaker who's been discussing issues of privacy and state surveillance long before this. Her films include The Oath and My Country, The Oath about Guantanamo prisoners returning to Yemen after being released by the U.S. government. Last April, Juan Gonzalez and I spoke to Laura Poitras and asked her to describe the difficulties she faces with immigration officials here in the United States, even as a U.S. citizen, whenever she travels, comes in and out of the country.
I've been stopped at the border since 2006, since I started working on this series of films looking at U.S. post 9/11. And so I've actually lost count to how many times I've been detained at the border, but it's, I think, around 40 times. And
40,
right. And on this particular trip, lately they've been actually sending someone from the Department of Homeland Security to question me in the departing city. So I was questioned in London about what I was doing. I told them I was a journalist and that, my work is protected and I wasn't going to discuss it. And then on this particular occasion, I landed at Newark Airport, and what they do when I'm flying, they do passport control inspection at the gate. So they make everyone who's deplaning show their passport, and so that's how they.
So they don't even wait for you to get to immigration.
No, I don't get into immigration. I get the escorted treatment.
So they make everyone show their passport until they get to you.
Right.
And then they take you off
And
the
then
plane.
they take me away. And then I'm escorted first through immigrations. And so this has been going on, I've been through this several times and kind of know how it goes. But what happened on this particular trip, which was very disturbing. So
just a few weeks.
Yeah. So I was met by 2 agents at Newark. One of them was Agent Wassam, and when they met me, I took out my pen and paper to note their names and the time, and because I've always taken notes, so I have a record of the questions that I'm asked and how long I'm detained for, what's the focus of the interrogation, what they're doing to me. And on this occasion, I took out my pen, and I was ordered to put away my pen, and I didn't, and I continued to take notes, and I was ordered again to put away the pen, and I didn't, and then he threatened to handcuff me for not putting away my pen. And at that point, I put away my pen and then walked to immigration and took out my pen again to take notes, was ordered again to put away my pen, and then was taken into secondary screening and asked to speak to a supervisor, explained I was a journalist, explained that legal counsel has told me that I should be taking notes of my detention and interrogation, and then I was told that I couldn't take notes, that I was free to take notes after I was finished being questioned. And
under the theory that what, the pen was a weapon?
Oh yeah, that's right. They said that my pen was a dangerous weapon. So that's Agent Wassam who said that my pen was a threat to them. And in terms of the context, you have to understand that I'm surrounded by border agents who are all carrying guns, and I'm taking out a pen that they find threatening. And so this was, profoundly upsetting, and then I was taken directly into an interrogation room and questioned. I took out my pen again. I was ordered by another agent to put it away, and this went on for quite some time, and I was told during this interrogation. I'm always asserting my rights as a journalist to not reveal my work, my sources.
You did a film on Yemen, you did a film on Iraq.
Yeah. And so this detention started after I finished the first film in 2006, which was about the occupation of Iraq. And I was told that I was refusing to cooperate with an investigation. And then he said, well, it wasn't an investigation, it was questioning, but that I was refusing to cooperate, and then I asserted my rights, that actually asserting one's rights is not refusing to cooperate. And so this went on for quite some time. And I mean, it's something that's been happening for a while, and I've talked about it publicly, but also have been hesitant to, because I don't want to jeopardize the work that I do. And
they took your computer?
I'm not on this trip. No,
they've taken your computer?
Yeah, on one occasion they took my computer.
They've taken your phone?
Yeah, yeah, on one occasion. It was right after, a few days after I was actually maybe a week after Jacob's computer was detained.
Democracy Now! Contacted the Department of Homeland Security for an explanation of why you were detained and interrogated at the airport on April 5th. We received a reply from Anthony Bucchi, the Public Affairs Specialist, that's BUCCI, in New York City for U.S. Customs and Borders Protection. He emailed, quote, "Due to privacy laws, U.S. Customs and Border Protection is prohibited from discussing specific cases." He went on to write, quote, "Our dual mission is to facilitate travel in the United States while we secure our borders, our people, and our visitors from those that would do us harm, like terrorists and terrorist weapons, criminals, and contraband." He did not answer our additional questions.
Well, I guess I should add journalists to that list.
That was Laura Poitras, the award-winning journalist and filmmaker who had a byline on two of the key articles in the Washington Post and The Guardian about the ongoing NSA revelation. She also filmed the Guardian interview with Edward Snowden in Hong when he went public with his identity June 6, shortly after the pieces were published about the information he provided to the NSA. To hear and watch our full interview with Laura Poitras, along with NSA whistleblower William Binney and computer expert, internet expert Jacob Appelbaum, you can go to our website at democracynow.org. When we come back,